regularly get phone calls from mothers, and sometimes they're from mothers who want to homeschool and they want advice on picking a curriculum and setting up their schedule. And other times it's mothers whose children are in school and they just have a situation that came up. And I find myself asking the exact same question to each one of the mothers, no matter what the situation is and no matter who they are. So I thought, let me share it with you because this is something that every mother can apply at all times, because every mother always has conundrums, things we just have to figure out. What's the right thing to do? How is the right thing to do it? And here's the question that can help you answer for yourself the right way to deal with your children. And that question is, can you identify what is your biggest priority here? What is the most important factor for you? Because depending on what's most important for you, that's going to change what your answer is. So for example, if a mother calls and says, I want to start homeschooling, and my biggest priority is that my child should only be out of school for 1 year. I want them to be able to integrate back next year seamlessly and smoothly. Well, her curriculum is going to look very different than a mother who says, I'm homeschooling. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I do know that as long as my children are at home, I want them to really develop a love of learning. I want them to really learn how to become self-learners, self-motivated. Or another mother who might say, my biggest priority is that my children should have a lot of time in nature and just get out and be in the world. Do you see how it depends what your priority is what your answer is going to be? And it's the same thing for every issue that comes up. What is the most important thing that you want your child to solve or to be solved for them in the decision you're making? Do you want your child to just be able to follow directions, to listen to you the first time you speak? Or do you want your child to learn how to move quickly and get a job done right away? Quickly. It doesn't matter how well they do it. Whatever the question is, ask yourself, what's my priority right now? And you might switch priorities, meaning my first priority right now might be, it's really important for me that my child learn how to read, to enjoy reading, to just have more fluency with reading. Well, the types of books that I'm going to pick to do with them, the types of games I'm going to play with them, those will be very different than if my goal is, I want my child to increase their vocabulary really high and really well because they're going to be taking the SAT in 2 months or whatever it is. Depending on what your goal is, what's most important, that's how you can figure it out. And so often, so many of our questions can be answered if we can just sit down with ourselves quietly with a pen and paper and figure out what is most important to me about this situation right now. What do I really want my child to get? And then how to get it, how to pursue that goal, that's so easy. Once you know which direction you want to go in, it becomes so much easier to find the right path to that direction. So often we feel so overwhelmed because we're just not sure what is the most important thing. There are so many options. There are so many possibilities. And yes, you do have so many goals for your child. And yes, some of those might be conflicting, and that's okay. We can't pursue everything as the most important all at once, but you can pick the most important for right now, pursue it, and then in a month or two, shift gears. Maybe something else becomes more important then.